Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Non-Native Leader, a video podcast series where we explore the life of leaders, of people who are not born in an English-speaking country, but they have achieved a success on the international stage. If you follow the series, you've seen we've been talking to leaders in fintech, NGOs, politics, academia, and software engineering. So broad spectrum of world leaders who have one thing in common. None of them was born in an English-speaking country. If you're interested in the topic, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Now, today I have with me Francesco Petroni. Hi, Francesco.
Hi, Daniele.
Okay, he's got an interesting story to tell, I'm sure, and he's currently in Dublin, but is a bit of a nomad these days because he's traveling around for work, and I am looking forward to chatting to him, and I'm sure he'll tell us more about what he's been up to. So, Francesco, you're very welcome.
Thank you, Daniele. Thank you, Daniele. So, hi, everybody. My name is Francesco Petroni. I'm, as Daniele mentioned, I'm working in Dublin. I've been living abroad for the last 18 years. And now I've been 10 years at work for Expeditors. And what I do is I'm a professional services global manager. And part of my job, as Daniele mentioned, is to travel around. Before this, I was working for a few years with Xerox. But, when I moved to Ireland, obviously my career started in a completely different way. So I started from the bottom. And that's who I am.
That's great, yeah. And so there are different aspects, yeah, of your career, yeah, and maybe even your life that I think would be really interesting to really insightful for people to know about. So you mentioned starting from the bottom, which is quite peculiar. Yeah, it's a nice expression, but what do you really mean? Can you tell us?
Well, when I left Italy, I was finishing my master degree in engineering. So the expectation of, I guess, everybody was to get a job in the industry, right? To have a straight away good salary and to apply all my studies to my work. But that was not what really happened. My first job in Ireland, it was a great job, was actually collecting glasses in a bar, in a very, very busy pub in the city center of Dublin. And that, I have to say, that experience was equally important to my master degree, for sure.
Wow. Yeah. So like that's a great point, right? Because that was very practical compared to your master's degree that it's usually very theoretical. And so what were like the benefits of this sort of practical job you had?
Yeah, the benefits were huge. In particular, when I moved to Ireland, I was convinced that my level of English was good, and indeed it was good in the way that people would, despite the accent that I still have, they would understand what I was saying. But the challenge was that I couldn't understand anything of what people were telling to me. I moved from Italy, where I used to talk with English teachers. They were talking very slow, very clear, and you can imagine in a pub, people don't do any effort to make their
Absolutely.
message clear. So that was really my biggest challenge. Try to understand what people were saying.
Yeah, and then everything is fast. Everybody is busy, and everybody's running in the pub. Yeah, I'd say probably it's not the best environment to understand people, but at the same time, it's probably one that gives you like some very good starting on the English language.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like my first fear at the beginning was I couldn't understand. I was only understand 2 or 3 words out of the sentence. It was very, very frustrated. But then, then you realize, okay, I don't need to understand everything. I need to understand the main ask, the keywords.
Yep.
So you focus on that one, and then, day after day, month after month, everything become natural. But that for me was a great trampoline to jump in a career, because obviously that local experience open up to real roles, to my career, to jobs relevant to engineering that I couldn't definitely do at the beginning without that experience.
Yeah, that's great. And I suppose that gave you also that extra confidence, like, okay, I can talk to people and I can express myself.
Yes, 100%. That extra confidence came day after day. Like, as I say, at the beginning is a bit frustrating, but then at one point you laugh about it. Like, I never forget one of my day working in a pub where the manager was looking for the keys of the pub, and I thought that he wanted the keys. It's this misunderstanding. It's something that happened many, many, many times. But
Yeah, the keys and the kiss.
laughing about it's very, very important. So always try to be positive and
Okay.
learn from it.
Did you give him a kiss?
No, I did not.
No.
I did not.
That's good. Yeah, I love this. And so you mentioned frustration. So were there like more negative emotions in your, let's say, the beginning of your journey?
Not from my side. Like from my side, I really, again, I was frustrated, but I knew where I knew that was a starting point, right? I guess maybe it was difficult to explain to people, back home, why you're working in a pub, why you're doing are you wasting time there?
Yeah.
So I think I have a common understanding with family, friends. That probably was the biggest challenge, right? People wouldn't really understand, in particular when you see people that finish with you the degree and they're already working in a big company, you're working in a bar. So that was a bit of a challenge. But I guess I knew that was a starting point for me.
Yeah, and it was great because you knew that you could make the most of that experience. And I mean, just to remind people, what's your role today? So, like, so
So
that
today I work with Expeditors, and I manage a big product within the company that we provide the professional services to one of our customers. So I have a team a bit all around the world in 9, 10 different locations. And again, what I love about this job, it's the fact that it's a very, very international environment, so many different culture, and many people in my organization start from where I started. I think if you have the right attitude, the right motivation, you can learn the job,
yeah,
right? But
yeah.
having a good attitude, I think, is key.
And this is brilliant because I mean, the reason why I asked about your current role is just to demonstrate that you can start from, working in a bar, despite what everybody tells you. Like, I'm sure, like family and friends, oh, what you doing? You're wasting your time, as you said. But then you've proved them wrong because, today you have a brilliant career. And you're also managing a large international team, which is great responsibility. And again, it all started from a pub, which is brilliant. I absolutely love it. Um,
Yeah.
so we started from the pub, and then now we are in. You are managing an international team. So there's been a journey, I am sure, between these 2 points. So can you tell us a bit more, like, okay, you started in the pub, then you said they gave you the extra confidence to get started. So was there a turning point there, or
Well,
how
I
was
started with the pub. After the pub, I did another very frustrating experience because I follow, I think, a 6 months course in supply chain. It was very frustrating because I had a master degree in that subject. So what I did for 6 months was very, very basic, but ultimately it was for me, I would say, it was my last English class, right? Because it was a good way to understand supply chain in a language that was not mine. So it was not really a waste of time. And that was really for me was really the last step, because once I had that experience as well, I had the language to be able to do an interview. And straight after that experience, I successfully managed to get a job in supply chain within Xerox.
Yeah.
But even there, I have to be honest, the challenges were not finished.
I can imagine.
Yeah, I mean, despite being in the country, living abroad already 2 years, when I started working in Xerox, a very international company, I will never forget my first day where I was training with one guy from South Africa. And he was, explaining to me all the problem that we have. And again, he was talking about pots. And I was like, I thought that Xerox was about printing, was about scanners, fax machine. I didn't know that they were selling pots and pan. But again, South African accent, what he meant was parts, spare parts.
Parts.
Yeah. But, I spent the full day listening to this guy, and I come back home, I was like, maybe the wrong company.
That must have been confusing, right?
But again, it's part of the journey, right? So,
Yeah.
and again, what I learned, it's just an habit. You get used to people accent, and day after day, it's easier and easier.
Yeah, and I suppose like with the exposure, with with the constant, with the like living within the environment, it's
100%. That is key. That is very, very key. And probably I was very strict with myself as well, because in particular at the beginning, I really tried to avoid any contacts with Italians. I didn't want to speak Italian. But again, I was probably extreme. If anyone goes for an experience abroad, you can definitely stay with Italian and I keep the culture alive. But for other end, you have to make sure that you do the effort to also integrate yourself with the local culture. I think that is key.
Yeah, this is a key point. I agree with you. So, and I mean, we have been talking now for a few minutes, and this keeps on coming up. So, in a pub, you connect with people, and you say, leave the culture, leave the local culture. So, I'd say there is this fundamental point about networking, which is something that I believe really helps when you want to have, let's say, an experience abroad, or even not abroad, but in an international environment. So what would you say, like, how has networking helped you in your journey?
It's been the most important things for sure. Building a relationship is the most important things. And again, it helped you with the career. It helped me today with my job. It's very, very, very important to build that network for sure.
That's great. And how do you do that? Can you give us some insight?
Well, I guess you need to push yourself outside your comfort zone. Like I remember going to a pub alone, starting to talk with people at the bar, asking people that you just met in a class to go out for a meal. You just have to put yourself outside your comfort zone.
Wow.
Like you're leaving your friends, from that you have since ever, right? You're moving to another country, so you definitely need to push yourself outside your comfort zone. It's very, very key. But the good things, it's that there are many people in your same position. So there are many other foreigners that are looking for the same. So at the end, it's not that difficult.
Yeah, so start chatting away and
Exactly.
and find some other person in your same situation. Say, look, we're here. Let's have a chat and let's see what we can do about it. That's fantastic. Now, I was wondering, because then, this networking thing I'm sure you have like exploited it also within the company. So, okay, at the beginning, sure, like go to a pub and start chatting with people, which is the best way to get started. But then there is also an element of networking when you are within a large company. So can you tell us a bit about that as well?
Well, absolutely. Like I was always very, very lucky, because every job that I've been doing in my professional career has not been a solo job. Like I've always been part of the team, and my team has always been a kind of share service consultant work. So for me to build a network was very, very easy because, I've always been working in a department where a lot of people were rely on our job. So connection came definitely naturally, and then I think a connection are also very good because in a way that when you're at the beginning of your career, yes, you enter in a big organization, you have your manager. Your manager definitely is a very, very important figure at the beginning, but also you need to look at other mentor, other people in the organization that can help you to grow. Like, and this is independent if you live abroad or not, but I guess, that network is important everywhere. Like you need to watch other people, you need to learn from other people. So you need to spend time with them if you want to improve.
Yeah, 100%. And what about like, okay, a lot of companies, let's say, put a lot of effort into these networking events, like social events beside business. I don't know, sport clubs or hiking clubs or events, dinners, parties. Are they? Do you think they're useful? Because it's a bit controversial. Some people love them. Some people think they're completely useless, waste of time. So
I think are important. I think every company should have them for sure. I think can be useful to certain people, but potentially not everybody. Like you cannot change an individual, right? There is an individual that are more introverts and more extroverts. So if the individual is introvert, a company event is not going to help him because it's not going to open up, with a lot of people. So I think it really depends. I think we also need to be careful with the quantity of event. Like there were companies back in the days that were doing event every month. I think event every month is not productive, but other companies do event maybe once a year, twice a year, and it can be very, 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 very positive. I think it's a nice benefit to have. But it also depends what is the event, right? If you have, I don't know, that's my opinion, right? But if you have a formal dinner sitting at the table that you only talk with the people next to you, there is not really value, right?
No.
But if you book, I don't know, a nice hotel, a nice venue, where people can really mingle, it's definitely different.
Yeah.
For example, my team in the United States do normally spring picnic with all the family at the park. I think that is very nice, because, people can be there, they can spend, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes with the team and they can think about their own business or they can spend the full day together. But I think the venue is very, very important.
Yeah, definitely. And like a place, a venue that allows you, as you say, to connect and to exchange some opinions and points of view besides the standard business talk, I suppose.
Yeah. And then another thing is also depending on the culture of the company, right? Like I work now in a company where it's, we do have a manager, we do have VP, we do have a director, right? But people are very, very approachable. So in a party environment, you don't feel that hierarchy, right? Hierarchy.
Sure.
So I think this is another important. Like I think when if you go to a party, to any team event, it's very, very important that those layers are gone, that everyone can feel free to talk with everybody.
That's great. And also talk about normal things, not necessarily
Exactly,
business.
not just about what. Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Because this is an important point, I believe. We talk a lot about small talk. Small talk, that is small talk. So this conversation about, I don't know, could be sports, could be personal life, could be hobbies. And that's what really help with networking, I believe. So
100%.
wow, that's great. I have a curiosity, right? So we've said you've been traveling a lot these days. So you have an office in Dublin, but you also have team in the States. You've been to Singapore a few times. You've just returned from the Netherlands. What is the like? So first of all, how does it feel? Okay, to have teams and to have offices in these different parts of the world.
Well, how does it feel? To be honest, I don't feel a difference. We build such a good relationship and trust with those offices that doesn't really make a difference where those people are located. Once you're clear with the deliverable, you're open, honest, and approachable with them. I think a relationship is much, much easier. So it doesn't really matter the location. Now, there is definitely different working style. In office environment in the States is very different from an office environment from Singapore, but I all have, you just get adjusted. You just get adjusted. It's very difficult because I've been doing it for so long,
Sure.
so it's very difficult to answer this question. But I guess for me, I would say travel, I think, is very, very important. I think, many companies have been successful during the pandemic because of all the travel that they did before. Like when the pandemic started and I had all my team working remotely and from home, I have no doubt that the service wouldn't drop. I have no doubt because I built that relationship and I had the trust of everybody. So I do think travel definitely is a key element to build a relationship. In fact, now, you see working in Dublin, I'm working in the office. We're back in the office. I think it's definitely good. I think it's good to be together, exchange your idea, confrontation, but even have the small talk in front of a coffee machine. Why not?
Sure, the famous small talk in front of a coffee machine. Yeah, that at some stage everybody was dreading, but now everybody is missing because
I think a good compromise between working from home, a bit of flexibility, I think is definitely important, but also spending time together is 100% key, at least in my industry.
Yeah, great. Look, I'm really curious, sorry, but I keep on going onto this because we mentioned culture, we mentioned different sides of the planet. So what would be like one key difference between, for example, working with people in the States and working with people in Singapore? So different style, I'm sure, but what else have you noticed?
Let me think. So first of all, it's I don't know. I don't know there is much difference, to be honest. Like I think within my company we all have the same culture, the same approach to problem, and the same willingness to do the right things. So I don't see really much different in the work environment. Actually, probably I see it more within Europe. Within different countries in Europe. I think we are much more different within Europe. No, it's. I think I really don't see much difference.
Sure.
For me, what is more different, it's the maybe the meeting, how we run meetings in America comparing how we run a meeting in Asia. But the one in America, the one in Asia maybe are much more. There is much more structure maybe. But the outcome is the same. The outcome, the professionalism, and the results are the same.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, probably in America they love mingling a bit more at the beginning of a meeting. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean for sure, that's for sure. But again, once you have that relationship, you have mingling everywhere.
That's great. I love it. I love it. Francesco, so we started talking about the pub, and now we're talking about having a team in the States and in Singapore. So obviously your life, your situation, your career has changed. So how has all this changed for you? So compare Francesco 20 years ago and Francesco today. So how have things changed for you?
Well, I think I definitely am the same person. I'm exactly the same person, and I was enjoying when I was collecting glasses in a pub, and I'm enjoying my job today. Exactly the same emotion. I have to be honest, because everything happened at the stage in your life, and for that stage when I was 23, 22, I was enjoying that time, so it was very, very good. But obviously, you mature, you change, you grow up, you have experience. I guess. Like my life is changed. I guess what is very, very important is just that you keep time for yourself. You keep time for things that for you are important outside work. you keep time like for your hobbies. I think this is very, very important because, you know, in particular when you go abroad, you can really be dragged by career, by work, and you losing all the rest. And I think it's very, very important to keep that work-life balance.
Wow.
I think that is very, very important. It's not just about work, because if you're an happy individual, if you're happy with your own life, you're gonna do a good job at work for sure. If
Yeah.
you're not happy as an individual, you know, work on work.
Yeah, this is really precious. It's precious advice, I believe.
Yeah, take time for your time. You
Yeah,
know.
because at the end of the day, if you are frustrated, if you're tired, if you're too busy, then you're not gonna be up to the challenge when you are at work. That is for sure.
Correct. I think this is very, very important. Like I always try to, during the day, during the week, even if I'm travel, to take time for myself. I think it's very, very important.
Good, good. That's precious, really. Okay, so just maybe one final thing, right? So we've been talking about different aspects, and you have already given us some ideas. So what would be like recommendations for people who want to have an international career, even like either traveling around or maybe working for an international company? So what would be your recommendation?
So my recommendation is definitely be patient, you know, with the language. Take your time. You don't need to understand every word, just keyword, etc. And then also my recommendation is, in particular, if you are abroad, set certain targets yourself. Like, you know, I know a lot of people that spend, for example, years living abroad, working in an Italian call center. Again, absolutely is an experience, right? But, you know, I don't know how much you will gain from it. That try to, if you're there to learn the language, if you're there to have an international career, you need to push yourself. So try to move around, but make sure also that you do a job that you want to do, and you just change job after job, because that is the worst things could happen to you. Like if you move in a career, you need to move for something that you want to do, not because you're bored of your existing experience. I think that is very, very, very important. I did this mistake once, and I learned from it for sure.
Yeah.
And then networking is very, very important. You know, you go there, you go abroad, you are alone. You need to try to get out from that situation as soon as possible. Build your network around you. You know, try to get to know people, and people will help you to build that confidence and potential you don't have at the beginning.
Yeah, so experience does give you confidence by all means.
100%, 100%. And if you're still in Italy or wherever you're based and you're thinking to have your experience abroad, another recommendation is try to go straight away. Because again, you need to be in the country if you want to really to start it. Like it's very difficult to start it from your own country.
I see. Well, Francesco, it's been great. I have really enjoyed this, and yeah, I'm laughing because I'm still thinking about the keys and the kiss. Sorry, can't help it, but
There's much more. There's much more.
I'm sure there is. It's been great, and I have really enjoyed this. I hope you have too, and I hope people who have been listening have enjoyed it. I thank you for being here with me, Francesco, and I wish you a great day. And everybody, thank you for watching and listening, and I'll talk to you in the next episode.
Thank you, Daniele.
Bye,
Bye, everybody.
Francesco. Take care. Bye.